Hi, everyone, and welcome to my live. I am Coach Sherry, and today is day 45 of 90 Day Going Live Every Day Challenge. I hope you all had a great day today on purpose. I'm so amazed when I say that sometimes, and if a person hears it for the first time, they're always so shocked, like, oh, I never heard that before. Well, yeah, you absolutely can make any day a great day on purpose. And I hope that when you wake up and start your day, that is your goal, is to make it a great day. Well, the weather here has been so wet these past 2 days. I'm talking about torrential rains. I'm not sure where it's coming from, what it's leading to, but it has been something else. And because of so much rain, it's leaving a dampness in the air, and it's like still relatively warm, the temperature, but it has a coolness to it. And if you're in the Carolinas and that's what your experience is, or if you're anywhere and that's what your experience is too, where you have kind of like a humid, cool, warm, hot, wet kind of weather all at the same time, I really encourage you to take care of yourself. Take some vitamin C, some zinc, drink something hot, try and stay warm and dry, because I don't know what this weather is going to bring. That it does not feel like it's going to be anything good right now. Definitely some beautiful flowers, and if you have a garden, I'm sure your garden is going to love it. But I don't know, it just feels like something's in the air. Well, today's topic is about cultivate self-worth. Cultivate self-worth. You know, I do a lot of coaching, life coaching, career coaching, marketing coaching for businesses. And whenever I'm coaching women, I always find that them putting a price tag on who they are or what they do is really hard. They can go and tell you how much certain things cost. They know off the top of their head how much it is. They can figure out things for their family, for their friends, for just tangible things that's in their life. Oh, this costs that I have to save up for this. But when you ask them what is their worth, they will hum and ha and drag their feet and not really give a clear number. They'll give a roundabout number, but it will not be definitive. And if it is definitive, it typically will be on the lower side. We don't, for some reason, in terms of women, don't value their time, their craft, their talents as much, and as men for some reason. And I'm telling you, when you build up that confidence, when you cultivate self-worth within yourself, you will find that you will have more confidence. You will have a stronger posture. You'll be able to walk in a room and own it. It'll just be a great thing for you personally and professionally. You'll be able to speak up with more confidence. You'll be able to do what you do and love what you do because you are actually getting paid your worth. So, knowing your worth is so important. And again, cultivating self worth is the topic for today. And this is going to be part of my Real Talk with Coach Sherry podcast. So if you're looking for replays, you definitely can check my lives. I do have a playlist, my 90-day challenge playlist, as well as a playlist for my Real Talk with Coach Sherry podcast. And if you are watching this on replay, welcome in. And for those of you that are coming in live, I appreciate you. If you haven't dropped down into the chat, that is okay. I know that some of you may be preparing for the next day, tomorrow, or just relaxing, and you may be watching this on television and just have it on. And I appreciate that. And, it could be challenging to get to your device to type in something in the chat, but you all are welcome. I love to see these numbers go up. So thank you for your support. All right. So your self worth is not determined by external factors like achievements, possessions, relationships, or social status. And sometimes when people talk about their self worth, they'll lead with those things. And those are not the things that really make you who you are. True self worth comes from within. It's about valuing yourself unconditionally as a human being, deserving of love and respect, regardless of what you do or don't have. And that's the thing, we all deserve love, respect, and value. And that all starts with you doing that for yourself. So if you out here and you're trying to find your self-worth or get that confirmation from others, you may or may not get it. 9 times out of 10 you won't get it, not what you truly deserve. So you have to first know that for yourself. So your worth is inherent and not contingent on accomplishments, appearance, income, your job, age, or anything else external. Measuring yourself by these things leads to fluctuating self-worth. And that's because, whatever you have in life can be ebbs and flows. You know, if you have a lot of money in the bank but you're not adding to it and you're taking away from it, it can dwindle. It's one of those feast and famine. Sometimes when people have a lot, then they feel like they're on top of the world, and then when it dwindles down to almost nothing, they are very depressed and down, and just don't know what to do, where their next move is going to be. So you cannot base your self-worth on those external factors that may be here today, gone tomorrow. Just like a job, your age. You could be young. Absolutely. We all were young. Listen, that's nothing new. We were all born, and we all have a start date and an end date and a dash in between. And right now, if you're listening to me right now, you are right there with me in that dash. And so with age, you can't build your self-worth on being so young. You can't build your self-worth on being seasoned and older and mature and wise. Your job is not define who you are. I remember going to a Italian wedding in Brooklyn years ago when I was dating my husband, and it was one of the most remarkable weddings I've ever been to. I mean, the bridal shower was better than most weddings that I've ever gone to, and I've gone to some remarkable weddings. And, I remember my husband and I were the only two people of color actually there. We were the only two Black people in the building. And we were well received though. And I remember some of the young girls coming up to me. I think, talking with the bride. I was friends with the bride. And they came up and were like, "Oh my gosh, how does it feel to be dating a New York Giant?" And I said, "I can tell you what it's like to be dating XYZ." I said my husband's name. He was my boyfriend at the time, but I was like, "I'm not dating his job, I'm dating him." And that's the thing, your job can come and go, so you can't base your self-worth on that. Your appearance. I always tell my daughters I'm the after picture. And because I'm their after picture, I definitely try to keep myself up as best as possible. But your appearance can fade too. As you get older, you start noticing different things that you have no control over sometimes. I don't care how well you eat, how good of shape you're in. There's just some things that are going to happen to you. For instance, for me, it's the bags under my eyes, and I get that from my father. And it's something I feel like I've had all my life, but the older I get, I'm starting to notice them more. So I'm not building my self worth off of my appearance at all, and neither should you. But also, positive self worth, it means accepting yourself fully, including strengths and weaknesses. It's about self compassion rather than harsh self criticism. And so, that's where you give yourself grace. So, yes, you have your strengths, but what are they? A lot of people, they only know a few of their strengths. They know the obvious ones that they typically encounter every day. But what about the strengths you know, that are small but are impactful, maybe to others, things that you do that just come natural to you, but it really makes a difference in the lives of others. You need to write those strengths down, but understanding your weaknesses. Like, I can't cook. And listen, I stand on that. I don't beat myself up over that. Everyone knows it. There's a couple of things that I can cook. My family has survived all these years, no problem. But that is one of my weaknesses. And that's okay because I know I have so many other strengths in other areas. So you have to give yourself grace. You can't be phenomenal in everything. Everyone has strengths. That's why you have a team. That's why you have a core group that, where one can't, the other can. All right. The next is you need to have healthy self worth. Having healthy self worth allows you to set boundaries. And we talked about boundaries a couple of days ago. You want to pursue opportunities confidently and not let others' treatment define your value because it promotes well being and life satisfaction. So you definitely need to have healthy boundaries. A lot of people, they don't have those healthy boundaries because they let other people dictate how they're going to be treated, how they're going to be used and dealt with. And, having those healthy boundaries, it helps you to understand what you will and will not put up with, what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you, and being able to express that effectively. That helps with your self worth because when people respect your boundaries, and the only way that they will is if they know about your boundaries. You can't assume that people just know. I always say common sense is not common to everyone. So you can't assume that everyone knows, well, don't do this or don't do that to a person. If you allow them to do it, they will. So in order to cultivate self-worth, you have to set those strong boundaries. And when you are respected, when your boundaries are respected, oh my goodness, you definitely will walk differently. Now, just because someone respects your boundaries doesn't mean they respect everyone's boundaries, but they typically will respect yours because you said something. And because of that, you can say, well, I know how they treat me. The way they treat you, that's on you. You have nothing to do with that. You could only control how someone, well, you can't control how they'll treat you, but you can control how you want to be treated. And in that way, you do have control over telling them and also the way that you show up for it. All right. Cultivating unconditional self worth is an ongoing practice of self acceptance, self forgiveness, focusing on your positive qualities, and recognizing your human dignity. It's about knowing who you are and inherently worthy of love and belonging. You are worthy of love and belonging. Don't ever think that you're not good enough, that things that people may have said in your past that have put you down, that means that you're not, one to be able to go into that group. The key is to stop bashing your worth on external uh, conditions and societal messages. Look inward, embrace your whole self with compassion, and root your self-worth in simple simply being human, just being one of God's children, knowing that God loves you so much. He loves us all so much. And it's not about what we have or where we live or who we are. It's about whose we are. And we are all his children. So don't beat yourself over the head because of things that you don't have or things that you haven't accomplished up to this point. Because as long as you have life, continue to live and know that each day is a new day to get it done for sure. Now, one thing people may say, like, all right, I want to cultivate self worth. I'm trying to understand, knowing my worth, but what does that mean? And how can I build my self confidence? Because that's the problem, with me not really embracing my self worth is not understanding or not being as confident as I would like to be. And so that I see that every day. And building self confidence is an ongoing process that requires conscious effort and practice. And I say it's ongoing because even the most confident people have to tell themselves, I am worthy, I can do this, let's go. They're not saying, oh, not today, I can't do it. And if they are, they shake that off because they are building their self confidence every day. And sometimes it is that back and forth struggle within. Even again with the most confident people, they may be going up against an opponent that is rated just as high or higher than they are, and they hear what the people are saying about, oh, this person is going to be so much better than you, and that can do something if you don't have a strong self-talk. So you want to look at your achievements. You want to make a list of your accomplishments, no matter how small they are, and revisit your past successes. This because this can remind you of your capabilities. I know when I had first coached my first basketball team, I was 21 years old, just graduated from college, and I had what was then called an all-star basketball team. And it was for a girls team that were 11 and 12-year olds. And the all-star team, now it would be similar to an AAU team, a travel team. They are the best in their rec league. They had to try out, and it was the best of the best. And so they were a small but mighty team, and I knew that they were going to come up against opponents that were much taller, bigger, stronger. But one thing I knew, because they were a small team, it wasn't going to be too many teams that were going to be faster. So I made sure to, when I worked them out during practice, to build their endurance, to make sure that their speed, their footwork was on point, that they were quick, that they can run up and down the court and make plays happen. They had to do that, taking the ball out from one end and getting it down to the other as fast as possible and making those shots. I knew that was going to pay off. And so I remember there was a team that came into our gym. And that's the one thing. I don't care if it's little league, if it's AAU, if it's school ball or whatever. When it's your home gym, you definitely don't want to lose. That's home court advantage. You know how the rims are laying and which side you shoot from the best. And so I remember when that team walked in, and my girls were like, oh my goodness. Now, mind you, they were 11 and 12 years old. I'm 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. And the tallest person on my team was about my height. Well, and the shortest person on my team was probably about 5 foot tall. And I want to say the average height was around 5'2", 5'4" on the team. And my girls were small, they were tiny in size. And I remember, and I think I had like a couple that was maybe like 4'9", 4'11". They were some small little girls. And this team, though, every girl was taller than me. Every girl was taller and as big or bigger than me. And I was like, wait, in my head, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what grown women are coming to play my 11 and 12-year olds? But these were 11 and 12-year olds too. And so I didn't let my team see my concern. I was just like, oh, okay. But my team was like, oh my goodness, Coach Sherry, what in the world? Like, how are we gonna win? What are we gonna do? They're so big. Are we playing them? And they was just so concerned. And I said, don't even worry about it. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And we was just kept doing our drills, warming up for the game. And I was telling them, listen, don't overexert yourself. When we had the jump ball, I knew. I mean, shoot, I don't care how high, how high my center jumped. She was never gonna out jump that girl. I knew it. Like she just wasn't. Not saying that one day she couldn't, but I knew for that moment she couldn't. And so I said, don't overexert yourself by trying to out jump them. Just remember, no one is faster than you. No one. And I'm telling this to the whole team. Outrun them. And they did. And y'all, when I tell you we won that game, it was so exhilarating. They couldn't believe they did it. It was beyond their wildest imagination. They never thought that even the parents were in shock because when you are coaching, especially like in a rec league type of AAU kind of situation, your bench is on the other side of where the bleachers are. So I can see the parents' faces when the other team walked in. They were like, "Oh my goodness," and I was just like, "Don't worry about it." I was just, being positive, clapping my hands, whatever. And I was one of those coaches, even though I would wear a suit every game, because I really wanted my girls to see, that you could be professional and fly with the game of basketball. But I was running down the sidelines. The referees kept telling me, like, don't go beyond the table and all this stuff, stay in the box. But I was so excited because they was running, they was killing it on the floor. And so again, when they won, it was the most joyous thing. I think if that was our first game and we won, that could have been our last game, and that could have been our only game for the season to win, just to know that we were able to beat that team. And so from that day forward, for every other game that we had, when a team may have looked like they were bigger, or they had really good reviews. The scouts had highly, they had some high level players on that team, and my team knew about them. I would always remind them of that game. Remember when the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And that would give them the courage to continue and do their best. That showed them their value. It cultivated their self-worth, and they knew they could do it. You did it once, you could do it again. And so that's what I'm saying to you. Anything that you've done that was extremely hard in life, always think about it when something else hard comes up. Like, to this day, when something happens and people are all bent out of shape, like, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do? This is the worst thing. And when they tell me, and I'm like, it's not ALS. Because ALS for me was like the worst thing, seeing my mother live with that. Or before that, it would be like, you're not pledging. Pledging, because pledging was a hard thing for me as well. So definitely, look at all of your achievements, things that you've overcame, hurdles that you've gone over, barriers you've gone through. And when you can remember those things, when you come up against something else, you know that you got through that. That is you. You have it within you to do anything. Everything is possible when you put your mind to it. And I remember, growing up, my mother used to think so highly of me and my father too. But my mother used to always be like, oh, my Sherry can do that. My Sherry can do this. And I would be like, Mom, why do you always say that? She said, because you can. And so I would go through life thinking I could, but in the back of my mind, I didn't have anything really challenging, as challenging as I thought, to prove that I could. And so that's why I always say my last life lesson was in me caring for her, doing something I never in my wildest dreams thought I would need to do, know how to do, or could do well. And all three of those things happened. And so that's why I'm very grateful for that experience, because it proved that if I put my mind to anything, I can absolutely do it. And so can you. So you also want to identify your strengths. And I had mentioned this a little bit earlier, recognizing your positive qualities, your skills and talents, and focusing on what you're good at can really boost your self-assurance. And fortunately, and sometimes unfortunately, unfortunately, we're not able to do what we love to do, what we feel like is truly our gift every day. you know um for whatever reason, it may be something that right now is not generating the income that you need to sustain you and make it into something that you can do every day. Or you might not even know what that is. What is that? And so, figuring out what it is, where is your strengths, and the positive qualities that you have, even if you can't do it every day, but you do at some point realize what they are, try to incorporate them in some kind of way in what you're doing. I do a interest assessment with coaching clients, and one of the ratings is artistic. And when people hear artistic, they always think, oh, creative, a singer, painter, someone that's doing something creative in that way. But I always say it's also being innovative, thinking out the box and really thinking again with what you're doing, reinventing, reimagining, you know, improving processes. All of that is innovation. All of that is artistic, being creative too. And when they look at it that way, because I'm asking them how, artistic shows up high for you. This might be something that is on your personal side, but you may not be able to really fully bring it out on your professional side. And they'll say, yeah, I really love writing books, or, painting, or, whatever the artistic thing is. And I say, well, how can you incorporate some of that creativity, some of that innovation, changing, making it beautiful, making it appealing, making it attractive in what you do professionally? And they think about it, and they think about ways that they can do that. It might even be the way they set up their filing system, even if it's a digital filing system, being creative with that. And so if you can't do what you love all day, you could definitely incorporate it into some parts of your day. Now, do y'all remember Ross Perot? And he had ran for president years ago. I forget, and I want to say back when either Bill Clinton or George Bush was running. I can't remember, but he was a billionaire, and he had very successful businesses. And he said that in his businesses, he never hired business majors. He always hired art majors, because art majors were creative thinkers. So when you think of being artistic, don't just think it's paint in your hand and brush in your hand. It's definitely a lot of different elements, and you can incorporate them into your everyday life. All right. You also want to set realistic goals. Ooh, all right. You want to set realistic goals. Achieving goals, even modest ones, builds your confidence. So break down larger goals into manageable steps to experience a sense of progress. And I had mentioned that before. I'm in the process of well, I want to say expanding upon a strategic goal setting workbook that I've done before. I actually created one last year, but it's only 25 pages, and I'm expanding on it. It's probably going to be well over 100 pages. I can't wait to finish it, y'all. Oh my goodness. But with that, it helps you to really come up with strategies around all of your goals. So you have your big goals, but some of your big goals aren't really realistic for this year. So you have to think about, when can you really get to that goal? So many people have goals written down that they probably won't even get to until maybe year 3 to 5. So you want to break those big goals down into smaller ones. If you want to purchase a house, maybe you need to repair your credit, save money, determine what side of town you want to live on, or what state or what city you want to live in, and do some research. Those are all small goals to get you to your big goal. People just say, oh, I want to buy a house, and they start looking at just random homes. They don't even have an idea. Do you want a ranch? Do you want a 2-story? Do you want 3 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How much land outside the house do you want? Do you want a front load or a side load garage, or a detached garage? Like, what do you want? So you have to like comb through all of that. And so that might take a whole nother year for you to understand what type of home, what, does it need to be energy efficient? So definitely break your goals into smaller ones, so that they'll be more manageable, and then you can really feel that sense of progress. That's when you can say, yes, I am in the market to buy a home. I know I want my home to be X, Y, and Z. I would love for it to be on a corner lot or in a cul-de-sac. And that's another thing. Well, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But at any rate, you definitely want to have more manageable, smaller goals. Then you also want to practice self compassion. Be kind to yourself. And this is where grace comes in again. Counteract negative self talk with positive affirmations and self acceptance. Confident people, they don't judge themselves harshly for mistakes. They can kind of laugh it off a mistake, because they don't even look at it as a mistake. They look at it as a learning experience. I know whenever something goes wrong, I almost sometimes, not always, but sometimes I prefer if things can go wrong, because I know that that's where I'm going to grow the most. If everything is always perfect, always right, always, on point, then how am I going to get better? I mean, obviously, when you debrief, you always want to see how you can make something better. But if you see where maybe, ooh, we should have really thought through that part a little better, that's how you know that you can do it, but you're not beating yourself up about it. You're looking at it as a growth opportunity. So definitely give yourself grace. And for me, grace last year was my word of the year. And I've said this before too. You want to have a word or a phrase for the year. You want to be able to have that word or phrase up somewhere where you can see it on a constant basis, refer to it, and exercise it. And trust me, I was giving myself grace and others grace all last year. And that's still a word that I use to this day because it is still very relevant. Also, you want to try new challenges. So step out of your comfort zone and learn new skills. That stretches your abilities and self belief. View failures as learning opportunities. And that's what I was saying about, practicing self compassion. Don't beat yourself up. But the failures in learning opportunities, some people beat themselves up with that. Oh, I'm so dumb. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. This wasn't for me. I should have stayed home or I shouldn't have come at all. Don't do that. Look at that as a learning opportunity that you tried it at least and you had that experience. And that's something that you can share with others. That's your testimony. You may not have enjoyed it, but you at least tried it. And there was something about it that you can share with someone else. Maybe telling them it really isn't as bad as you might think. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And that's okay. And that is okay. So definitely stepping out of your comfort zone, meeting new people. I've coached someone that is very, very shy, very much so an introvert, but she wanted to grow in her career. And I was like, the only way you're going to do that is to increase your social capital. So you're going to have to go out and network. So I helped her come up with, and I know the elevator pitch is not the word to use anymore, but I helped her come up with an intro conversation where she was able to tell people who she is and the types of things that she was looking for in the next 30 to 60 days. And from that event, she went to a really big association networking event. And because she practiced that, and I told her, you're going to practice introducing yourself, not just with your name, but who you are, what you do, how you would like to grow in your career, what you need personally and or professionally. You're going to practice that in your head. You go into an association meeting. It's more than just hi, my name is. It's all of the things that I had just shared with you all just now. And so I said, you write it down, you practice it in the mirror, you practice it with your partner, with a friend. When you're driving, you say it to yourself. You can even record yourself saying it. So it's something you can listen to periodically until it's part of who you are, is what you say. And she went to that association meeting and had such a good time. She joined a subgroup and found a mentor. And so that was a win win for her. And she was so excited, and it propelled her to try other new things. So, definitely stepping out of your comfort zone and learning new skills, it definitely stretches your abilities. You also want to improve your physical health. So, regular exercise, they always say it releases the endorphins that improve your mood and self perception. And, it's true because once you kind of get into the groove of it and it becomes, kind of a habit, it's something you start to look forward to. When you look forward to anything, that already is improving, your endorphins, and improving your mood. So, good nutrition and adequate sweet sleep also contributes to you feeling capable. Now, listen, I love good food just like the next person for sure. And I love me some soul food, and it is definitely food for the soul. But what I've come to realize is there's certain foods that, yeah, you might only need to eat that maybe once or twice a year. And that's because I've come to the realization, and even just talking to my children, I'm probably, I'm not in that tip top shape like my husband or my kids, where they work out and everything. I can't work out as hard as they do. I can only really walk, but I do know that food is supposed to be fuel for your body. So if you eat certain foods and after you eat that food, you get real sleepy, and you all know what I'm talking about. It's that itis. If you find that you are very sleepy, then that is not food that's fueling your body. You are putting regular gas in yourself, and you deserve premium. So you're going to run a little different, and that's not good. So when you start to feel sleepy after eating certain foods, you need to write that food down and not eat it often, because that's not the food that is feeding your soul, your true soul. You need to, when you eat, you're supposed to feel energetic. You're supposed to feel like, okay, that's some good gas. I can run a little bit longer now. I'm good. It's supposed to give you that boost of energy. And again, if you aren't feeling that way, you're not going to feel capable. You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel foggy, and you're just going to say, you know what, just let me take a nap for a little bit and then let me get back to this. That's not good. So definitely be mindful of that and improve your physical health. And also, people always say, I'm just gonna have this little bit right here, or I only have one of these a day, just one a day, or one a week, or once a month. Did you know that if you do anything once a year, and you do it that once a year, it's a habit. So if you say, oh, I'm only gonna smoke this cigar once a year, it's a habit. You smoke cigars, even if it's one cigar once a year. So if you drink one soft drink once a month, you drink soft drinks. That's a habit. And just imagine if you cut that one out. Imagine if you say, I only do this once at one, like I drink 1 cup of coffee every day. And I like my coffee a certain kind of way. I don't drink it black. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I can only imagine like what my whole life body would be like if I didn't drink even that 1 cup of coffee every day. I mean, I know that to get over that hurdle, and I just don't like that brick wall I hit when I'm going through withdrawal from drinking coffee. That little feeling of sluggishness where I'm hitting that wall and I'm just like, whoa, like I need something. And I know that that feeling only lasts a few days, but I just don't even feel like going through it right now. So maybe, when I go on vacation or something like that, I might try and wean off of coffee, because I know that that would be a good 5 to 10 pounds right there, you know, not right away, but over time. So if you find that you drink like one can of soda a day, imagine if you could take that out of your diet. That would definitely be 5 to 10 pounds, within like 6 months for sure. So also you want to dress and groom well. Taking pride in your appearance can increase self-respect and project confidence to others. Dressing professionally, it boosts workplace assurance. So just imagine when you have a new outfit or something that you're wearing and you feel really comfortable in it, and you're like, you know what, this right here, what did some more the comedian say, I think it was like when she went to church and she had a really nice outfit on, and she said, not enough people saw me today. And so she goes to, all these aunties' house and the neighbor down the street's house or whatever, the hairdresser, whatever. So more people can see her in that outfit. And that's how it is. When you look good, you feel good. And it's not about outer appearance necessarily, but it's just about that grooming. It doesn't even have to be anything fly. It could just be something well fit, well cut for you. It could be something that's comfortable but still really stylish, stylish enough that you feel confident when you walk into any room, that you're like, you know what, I'm prepared. I feel like, if I need to get up on stage, I can. If you don't ever want to be in a situation where you have these opportunities that come to you, but because you didn't come there fully prepared internally and externally, you're like, nah, I'm not ready for that. No, 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 not today. And I know I've caught myself doing that sometimes too, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to get in that picture, but why not? stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that will really help boost your confidence as well, and help with your cultivating your self-worth. And so practice confident body language. Body language, it speaks volumes. I think it says 77% of what you don't say is 77% of nonverbal that is communicated. When you think about 100%, I think it's about 77%, if I'm not mistaken. Nonverbal is what people really hear. So practice confident body language. Stand tall, make eye contact, and speak clearly and audibly. Adjust your physicality. Adjusting your physicality can lead to feeling more self-assured. So, pulling your shoulders back. And I've seen my kids as young children, and when they're walking in or walking anywhere, I'm like, pull them shoulders back. And so now when they walk, I promise you, it's like seeing Clydesdales walking through. They just have this walk. It's like, I own it and I love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can be that and have that type of self-assurance no matter what level you're at, but be it, a young child, an administrative assistant, a owner of a business, a leader, whatever it is, we all deserve to have that level of confidence on who we are and what we are bringing to the table, because we all add value and we all deserve a seat at that table. And building true self-confidence is really about developing an unshakable sense of self-worth, independent of the external factors of people, places, and things. So be patient and persistent, because real confidence takes time to nurture from within. So, no matter what you might buy, get, have, drive, whatever, that is not going to be the end all be all for your self confidence. It has to start from within. If it's not truly and authentically coming from within, it's going to be a challenge for you to keep that up. You're going to end up with that imposter syndrome. And there's no reason, as you are cultivating self-worth, there's no reason why it has to be an imposter. It absolutely can be you. But you have to know who you are first and own it and be confident in it and walk in it. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate this time that you have spent with me. I hope that you were able to capture some nuggets, have your pen and paper, taking down some notes. You can listen to this on replay, pause it, rewind, fast forward, whatever you have to do to get the message. Share this with your circle, anyone that you think needs to cultivate their self worth, and really do things, because the best is yet to come. But are you ready? So thanks for tuning in. Remember, practice every single day so that when you go into play, you will always play to win. It has been my pleasure. I am Coach Sherry.